Hi, I'm Carl Azus. It's great to have you watching this Thursday, September 20th. First story today on CNN10, a meeting of two very different leaders of two very different governments from two very different countries who share one peninsula. The leaders of North Korea and South Korea met Wednesday in the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. It was the second day of a three-day summit between them. This was also the third time these two have met this year. That's significant because their nations have been rivals since fighting stopped in the Korean War in 1953, and it wasn't until the year 2000 that their leaders even met face-to-face for the first time. Quote, "The era of no war has started," the words of South Korean President Moon Jae-in Wednesday. Quote, "The world is going to see how this divided nation is going to bring about a new future on its own," the words of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un Wednesday. The two sides agreed to create rail and road links between their countries, to stop military drills aimed at each other along their border, and their defense officials signed a 17-page agreement that the two countries would stop all hostile acts against each other. The United States factors in here too. It's an ally of South Korea, and U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim made history when they met this summer in Singapore. But negotiations between their countries have stalled since then. One thing that could get things moving again was North Korea's pledge yesterday that it would close a missile test facility and possibly destroy its main nuclear complex. That is, if the U.S. agrees to corresponding measures. It wasn't clear what exactly those measures would be. So while there's been some public optimism about the talks and relations between these countries, some analysts are still skeptical that they'll all be able to work things out. In the U.S. states of North Carolina and South Carolina, the rainfall has finally stopped from Hurricane Florence. But rivers are still rising, the power is out for hundreds of thousands of people, and those who stayed or who've been able to return to their homes are trying to assess the damage to their houses, their farms, their animals, and crops. President Trump visited the region yesterday. He met with emergency workers, first responders, and residents, and he said that while the hard work was just beginning, the entire American family was with the victims and ready to help them recover. The hurricane, which killed at least 36 people, made landfall last Friday. CNN meteorologist Derek Van Dam tracked it from start to finish.
That was the most intense wind I've ever felt in my life. Can you guys see some of the outer rain bands here? All right, so that is Florence. So once that reaches us here, probably in the next 10-15 minutes, that's when things really start to come into play. All right, good evening, or I should say good morning, because we just clocked over midnight, and there's been a marked difference in the weather here in Carolina Beach in North Carolina. Just take a look at how the weather is picking up in intensity so quickly here. This has really picked up in intensity in the past, let's say 30 minutes, as we notice that inner eye wall. There goes the lights. That's it. All right. I'm gonna end this broadcast, guys. I need to get inside. I'll speak to you guys soon, hopefully when the eye wall passes. Guys, this is about as strong of a storm as I've ever felt. So come along. I don't know how long this is going to last. All right, guys. Let's go check this out. Woo! All right, guys. Oh my goodness. That was intense. Woo! And there's birds up there, you guys. Birds are flying around. Seriously. Wow. I am in the eye of Hurricane Florence. Look at this. Everything has gone completely calm. Unreal. You guys, literally, I can't tell you. 5 minutes ago, I was experiencing the absolute strongest winds I have ever felt in my life. What is now Tropical Storm Florence is a slow-moving storm system, and it is really taking its time pulling away from us. It's going to continue to batter us with this strong weather for the next 36 hours. You guys see those cars over there? Completely submerged. In Ogden, North Carolina, navigating some of the roadways across this area, very difficult, virtually impassable. And here's an example of a woman who unfortunately turned too wide, fell into a culvert, and her car got completely submerged underwater. The ones who decided to stick around, the people that decided to ride out the storm, now they've got the long-term flooding effects of this particular tropical depression, Florence.
10-second trivia. The Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 helped give rise to what U.S. government agency? The EPA, the USDA, the FHA, or the FDA? The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, has roots in the 1906 law. The FDA is taking to YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and at least 10,000 high school bathrooms with posters that raise awareness about e-cigarettes, electronic cigarettes. The FDA says more than 2 million middle and high school students used them last year. The U.S. government has found that e-cigarettes contain fewer toxic chemicals than smoke from regular cigarettes. And many adult smokers have turned to vaping to help themselves quit smoking. But the government says vaping is still dangerous, especially for young people. A study in the journal Pediatrics found 5 toxins that cause cancer in the bodies of 16-year-olds who inhaled e-cigarette vapor. So the FDA is targeting more than 10 million American teenagers with an anti-vaping campaign. Some addiction analysts call the campaign a step in the right direction. Others say the FDA waited too long and needs to target kids who are younger than 12. A vaporizer company executive says he agrees that e-cigarettes shouldn't be for young people. But critics say flavors like cotton candy and sour gummy worms tempt kids to start vaping.
The kids that I talk to believe that there's nothing in there that's dangerous. They don't think there's anything more than water.
It's not water. It's called e-liquid. And when heated by the coil, it changes to an aerosol. Columbia University researchers using this machine found the vapor has toxic metals like chromium, nickel, zinc, and lead. And as we know, there is no safe level of lead. With very little regulation, people are not fully aware of what they're consuming. I sat down with the FDA Commissioner, Scott Gottlieb, and asked him about this e-cig phenomenon.
Youth use is deeply concerning to me. We're going to be taking some enforcement actions very soon to target companies that we think are marketing products in ways that they're deliberately appealing to kids. I'm going to be having conversations with some of these companies, trying to inspire them, if I can, to take more corrective actions on their own.
Don't forget, nicotine is one of the most addictive substances out there. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, reporting.
Historians don't know who built Stonehenge or why Britain's prehistoric circle monument was built, but we're pretty sure that whoever did build it never envisioned this. It's a Stonehenge DJ dance party, the first time the monument's ever been used for this. There are sound restrictions at the historic site, so guests had to wear headphones to actually hear the music. Sales from the album that was recorded are slated to help protect and preserve Stonehenge. And that's music to historians' ears. Does the album rock like the monument? Will it make history? Does its success hinge on the site where it was recorded? We asked the DJ, but he was stone-faced. At least that brings today's edition of CNN10 full circle. I'm Carl Azus.